Welcome to Hail Varsity Radio, the voice of Husker Nation. Insight, opinion, expertise, with the biggest and best names talking Nebraska across the state. Join the show on Twitter at Hail Varsity and at Schmidt_radio. Call in at 402-466-ESPN or 1-800-825-5865. Here's Chris Schmidt.
Welcome to it. Great to be with you on a Tuesday. It's Hail Varsity Radio, presented by the Nebraska Lottery. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel. We're going to dive in and dissect. Really not much of a decision, quite honestly, but Dylan Raiola off to OHIO. Not shockwaves for me. I don't know about you, but we'll dive into Nebraska's true chances at grabbing him. In hour one, Mitch Sherman will join us, talk some Big Red Ball with him, get his take on some recruiting for the Nebraska. In hour two, Rick Kaczenski joins us, Tuesdays with Kaz. We'll recap Better Call Saul, Mike St. James with us at 5:40. We're getting down to the end, man, the finish line of a pretty iconic TV series. There was a spinoff of Breaking Bad, 2 episodes left. We'll see what Mr. St. James thought of last night's rendition. Numbers to dial up, get involved at 466-3776, 466-3776, 800-825-5865. Email the show, Chris at HailVarsity.com, and follow us on Twitter, Chris Schmidt, me at Schmidt_radio, Elijah Herbel at Herbal Essence on Twitter. Before this hour's done and before 6, we'll give you a shot at qualifying to beef up your backyard. That cooker, that smoker from Capitol Patio and the Flame Shop, the Smoky Mountain Smoker, and also a gift card to Russ's so you can get ribs, you can get beef, you can get whatever you want to throw on your smoker. That giveaway towards the end of May. Level of surprise. Let's get into it. Where were you at as a Nebraska fan in the Dylan Raiola sweepstakes? Were you hoping that Powerball ticket hit? Were you realistic that Nebraska's a long shot? And maybe that's harsh. Maybe that's not nice. And I know there's bloodlines, family ties, familiarity, all that good stuff. I think Nebraska, quite frankly, got a couple, or more than a couple. Nebraska, I have no doubt, worked their butt off to try and impress Dylan Raiola, top quarterback in 2024. I have no doubt that he probably enjoyed himself. I have no doubt he has a pretty good understanding of Nebraska football history because of his uncle. Because of his father. And it doesn't hurt that his uncle's coaching the O-line right now. You know, we can get into uncle, is he qualified for the job? Well, yeah, he's coached. He's coached in the NFL. There's that floating around out there. Well, you know, you hired the guy because of his net. No, I don't think you can do that. It doesn't hurt. But I think when push comes to shove, it is do or die time. And part of doing is having a good offensive line. And Donnie Raiola will be an option. His job is to make Nebraska's offensive line more physical and be part of a larger, bigger picture of Whipple and Applewhite and Raiola and Frost, right? I mean, all those cooks got to make a great meal about 7 or 8 times a ball game, or 7, 8 times next season. At least get you into postseason. But as a Nebraska fan, are you really that shocked that he said, you know, I'm going to Ohio State? I am not. Absolutely not. Nebraska got 3, at least 1 courtesy offer or visit. And then that turned into 2, and then that turned into spring game. If anything, it makes Nebraska look great that you got a guy the caliber of Dylan Raiola coming to your spring game. Well, okay, which one of these is not like the other? Nebraska, Ohio State, Alabama, USC. I'm missing one. I'm missing one of the programs. Point is the who's who at quarterback. Georgia. Sorry.
Just Georgia.
Those guys that won the national championship. Nebraska got a visit and a second visit and then a spring game visit because of the relationship, because of probably some honest intrigue. And if you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to you, I promise. But and listen, Nebraska doesn't have an awful history of quarterback production, right? Frost still has Mariota and Milton under his belt. Nothing to sneeze at. From a recency standpoint, Coach Whipple still has Kenny Pickett. We'll see how things go for him in the NFL. And Nebraska got Chubba Purdy and Casey Thompson, okay, the Big 12 leader in touchdown passes. All of that is very nice. It isn't the projected number one quarterback overall in Stroud that Ohio State has under Ryan Day. It's not Fields. Top pick, incredible ball player. Chicago fans hope. Really good college quarterback. God rest his soul. Haskins, top 15 pick. And even Joe Burrow was there. Okay. You had to pick between Haskins and Joe Burrow. Now, Ryan Day was the interim in 2017. Sound right? 2018. And Tim Beck did some of that recruiting before Ryan Day got there and took over as quarterbacks in OC in 18. But the point is the run Ohio State's been on is only comparable to what Bama's done. And I know Clemson's had some good quarterbacks as well. They've been the playoff teams. But that's what's going to happen. The top quarterbacks are going to keep going to the top schools that produce. Oklahoma's in there as well through the transfer setup. With their run of Heisman winners. And then, by the way, Jalen Hurts. So Nebraska needs to do something on the field, period. Nebraska needs to show that, okay, out of high school, can they recruit somebody and develop somebody? And Adrian was a 4-year guy for Nebraska, did some good things. He's not here any longer. That's all you have to go on right now if you're a prospect looking in at Nebraska. And Nebraska got the courtesy call 3 times. And it helped Nebraska from a perception standpoint. I'll get into the quarterbacks Nebraska's still out to. Here is Nebraska's best case scenario for Dylan Raiola. Ryan Day goes to the NFL after next year. And it's portal time, or it's 12th hour flip time, or is rampant as transfer situations are at the quarterback position, you get him on the way back around if everybody's still here. If you're a Nebraska fan, you hope that things don't get shaken up. Turnover sucks. It's been that way the last 20 years. But you keep the bridge built, fire-free, and say that the door's always open for you, Dylan. Good luck at Ohio State, except when Nebraska plays them, which isn't on the schedule every year. John's with us on Hail Varsity. John, thanks for hanging on. Go ahead.
You bet. Hey, Smitty, how's it going?
Good. What's up?
Hey, as Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend, with Dylan. Here's what I think. I think he wants to come here, but he did the smart thing. He committed to a great place, and if things don't go well next year for the Huskers, well, his move is safe. But if we have a great year, we can turn it around, we can get this thing going like I think we can. Now, all of a sudden, he's thinking, yeah, that choice, that's where I want to go is a much safer place to be at than it was now. There's
absolutely uncertainty around Nebraska. There's probably uncertainty around a little. I mean, not to the degree, but we've heard Ryan Day's mentioned in the NFL. Okay, so
sure,
nothing's ever in ink or set in stone. I think he wants to go play pro ball. I think the place he felt most comfortable with, based on his visits, is Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State's going after a 2023 quarterback because they got his commitment. So there's some there's some commitment on Ohio State's part, and we'll see. Now, they just lost the Ewers, not just, but they lost the Ewers kid, but they landed him as a 5-star quarterback, but he transferred back down to Texas, so there's that. It's just an apples and oranges discussion right now with quarterback production, development, and NFL readiness. Right now, Nebraska versus Ohio State, it's not even a conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, and while I'm on the line, can I give a free shout-out to the Husker women's softball team that's going to go win the Big Ten tournament? Then we're going to go to the NCAAs. Then we're going to win the Supers, and then we're going to be in Oklahoma City, baby.
That'd be awesome, man. Last time Nebraska was in the Women's College World Series, I was doing radio for them, and that's been about 20 years, 19 years. But I hope Coach Ravel and the Husker women get it done. They're a lot of fun. They're an awesome group.
That's right. All right, thanks guys.
John.
Have a great
Appreciate
day.
it. You too.
Roadshow in Oklahoma City if they make it down there?
We'll see. We can figure that out. That'd be all right.
That'd be fun. But
listen, I like John's optimism. I love his passion. Good dude, loyal listener. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. And if you're a Nebraska fan that's upset about this, I'm not going to tell you how to feel, but it's a business decision. And Dominic Raiola is not going to tell this kid to go to his alma mater. Uncle Donnie's not going to say, come here and save us. No. I mean, fix on the field what you can fix. You've got good talent and good players here, and start winning some ball games, and it's not going to – maybe you get that quarterback. Here's what what we don't know, and you can paint it as this. From a quarterback standpoint, is Raiola going to be that game-changer quarterback? Is he going to be Turner Gill, Tommy Frazier, the quarterback that took you from really good – to championship contender? He's billed that coming out of high school. Is he going to be a college quarterback that's pretty good / one of the greats? We'll see. Is he going to be good to serviceable? And this, to me, when I say good to serviceable, I think of the Armstrong or T-Magic that put up 6 stats, won you 9 or 10 ball games, and didn't win a championship. I have no fear, barring injury, that he's going to avoid the Harrison Beck stamp of total flame out and flake because of his family, his work ethic, and the kid he is. Okay? He's not a psycho. Sorry, Harrison. It's all good. You're entertaining. So those are the categories you go into. Okay? That's what you go into. What?
Harrison.
Well, no, come on. I mean, you've got, is the kid going to be the next Turner Gill, Tommy Frazier to turn the program and go beat Oklahoma and go beat Miami? Or is he going to be packing his car and leaving his apartment on a Tuesday?
Well, I mean, I think you can even look just more recently among the guys who have been the top quarterback recruits in their classes. Is he going to be Trevor Lawrence, or is he going to be Tate Martell? I mean, when you look at the guys,
Tate's always got a for sale sign in front of his suite.
Yeah, I think he's retired from football now. But I mean,
too soon. I mean, in the NIL era.
But there's a lot.
Always
more.
willing someone to spend money on Tater.
There's a lot more of those guys. I mean, with how just over-evaluated all these quarterback prospects are out of high school. You have a lot more of these guys that they actually live up to the billing that you expect. When you look at the past 5 years, the top quarterback recruits, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Tate Martell is the exception. Quinn Ewers, we're not all that sure about him. But just look at those guys and look at how long and drawn out their recruitments were. I mean, Justin Fields, no idea where he was going. Ends up at Georgia and then transfers to Ohio State. Trevor Lawrence is pretty much the exception here of a guy who committed early to his school, stuck with that school all the way through, and ended up going to Clemson and did great things for Clemson. Then you got Quinn Ewers, who was started out at Texas and then decommits right before signing day, goes off to Ohio State, makes a semester at Ohio State, and comes back. This recruitment is far from over, is what I'll say here. I think he'll live up to the billing, but the way I see it is this is a guy who is got his Ohio State offer and says, you know what, I'm going to lock this in. I'm going to commit, make sure if anything bad were to happen, say I tear up my knee junior year and I come back senior year and my stats aren't living up to what I put up my sophomore year, you still have that Ohio State offer and commitment in your back pocket. And even if they were to pull the offer, you were just an Ohio State commit, the number one in the country, you're going to find a good landing spot. This is him, I think, locking in his place as one of the top quarterbacks in that class. No matter what happens, you were the Ohio State commit. You were the number one quarterback in the country, even if things change in the next 2 years.
Ohio State has not missed on field with their quarterbacks.
Yep.
Period. SC's had 100 guys in and out. During the Sumlin era, they all started at A&M. They all killed it somewhere else except for Johnny Football. Okay? Ohio State's not missed. Dabo with Trevor and Watson didn't miss. Georgia's been pretty good, on top of the fact they surround him with insane talent on the lines of scrimmage. Places that have been really flighty, well, Tennessee's whiffed a lot. SC's whiffed a lot. Texas has whiffed a lot. LSU's had quarterback problems for a long time until Joe Burrow went down there, saved the day. That's about it. So that high projected prospect and Ohio State's history of quarterback with Ryan Day, no-brainer.
But this is a guy that doesn't graduate high school for 24 months still. There's still a lot of time left in this.
There is, but he knows where he wants to go. Mitch Sherman next. Hello, listener. Hey, it's Chris Schmidt with Hail Varsity Radio, and I wanted to let you know about a special deal just for listeners of the Hail Varsity Radio Show podcast. We're offering $10 off the annual subscription price of $29.99. That means that you, for less than $20, can get everything we do. 10 issues of our monthly magazine, our annual football yearbook, and all the premium content we produce at HailVarsity.com. Just go to HailVarsity.com/subscribe and enter in the promo code GBR for $10 off a full year of Hail Varsity. That's HailVarsity.com/subscribe, promo code GBR.
And we're back
Fellas, think we could listen to the radio
on Hail Varsity Radio, presented by the Nebraska Lottery.
Yes! That's awesome!
Thanks for hanging out. Hail Varsity, presented by the Nebraska Lottery. It's Mitch Sherman time with The Athletic at Mitch Sherman on Twitter. Mitch, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you, Chris?
We're good, man. You are in the thick of youth baseball season. I am waiting for Legion tryouts and hopefully Legion season. It's been weird over the last couple of weekends to not have ball to go to, but I know you're throwing signs out from third base quite a bit.
I know. I feel for these newly minted high school parents. Things kind of change a little bit. I've got some of that going on with some neighbors and friends here in our area, and I'm savoring every game and every year that I'm on the diamond with these kids while they're still young. Yeah, I'm the first base coach, but I appreciate you always asking. And my signs are more like whispering in the ear. They get the actual signs from across the field at third.
So you're the get back guy. I love it.
Well, see,
kinda. Yeah. We take it a little farther than that, but sometimes we just overrule the third base coach and say let's deal here.
See, the first base coach was always most important in my youth playing career because they would have to know that I had the ability to stretch a double into a single. They had to know that whenever that ball got to the gap, there was no way I was getting to second base. Did not matter.
You hold up here, son.
Yep.
We had a lot of that going on last night. Yeah, big win for our boys. I'm happy being the first base coach because I get to talk to all of them. If third base, if you're, you don't always get to third. So, but everybody who gets on base, I get to talk to them. So that's fun for me.
All right. So, reaction to Dylan Raiola saying OHIO. I'm not really that shocked, and I know some Nebraska fans are like, well, shoot. But how realistic was it in your mind that Nebraska was in this, or do you think they were in the race for Dylan?
Well, I kind of knew this was coming, and I found out today on Twitter that I was maybe in the minority on that. I expected it for the last month for him to commit to Ohio State before his junior year, and then had heard some rumblings that he was going to want to do it around his birthday not that long ago. So I wasn't surprised. In fact, when I saw some of the cryptic tweets last night from Arizona, I was like, well, I know what this is. And So in that sense, it wasn't realistic for Nebraska at the end. And really, I think when Dylan became kind of the face of the 2024 class and the offers started piling up from Alabama, Georgia, Texas, USC, Ohio State, Georgia, that was not a good sign for Nebraska. And that he wanted to do it early was also ominous and didn't bode well for Nebraska. Really, the only way that it could have worked with him at that high of a stature, I think, would have been for Nebraska to have a major turnaround on the field and have an offense that looked like it was ready to produce NFL quarterbacks here in 2022 on the field, and then for him to go with the normal timetable. Usually you see the top quarterbacks committing after their junior seasons, but, he is so highly regarded right now that, might as well get it done. He's had the ability, unlike a lot of kids who are 15 years old, to go out and visit everywhere he wanted to see. And that's the benefit of having a dad who was in the NFL for as long as Dominic was and who knew coaches and had the resources to take him all over the country. So not surprised from that side of it that Dylan committed early. I think it was realistic for Nebraska a year ago, way back at the beginning of this thing. Like when we saw him at Friday Night Lights in Lincoln last June, that was a light bulb moment. It was like, wow, I can't believe this kid is barely 15 and this good and hasn't started a high school game yet. But, he quickly exploded on the national scene. And as that occurred and Nebraska's sitting there coming off a 3-win season, it's a tough one, even, when your uncle is on the staff and Scott Frost, has had developed a good relationship with him and his family.
Mitch Sherman's with us, Hail Varsity Radio. I look at Dylan, and you just laid out the wow factor with him. And then you look at Ryan Day and Ohio State. I mean, it's been them and Bama that have just kind of been printing first-rounders, Mitch.
Yeah, I mean, you can just look at Justin Fields and others, Dwayne Haskins, others that have come out of Ohio State in recent years and gone right into the first round of the NFL. And there are not many schools, you mentioned Alabama, but there are not many schools, Clemson is another, that can say that. And that means so much to a high school prospect who is the stature of Dylan Raiola. His vision, his dream, especially with a father who played in the NFL, is to get there and do it at that level. And that is, that becomes more important than the things that so many other top prospects out of high school are looking at. All of the conversation right now, it seems, around college football is about NIL. But no matter what's going on with NIL, the ultimate payoff for a player like Dylan Raiola is to be in the NFL and to be a first-round pick. And that's what Ohio State and Ryan Day have proven more than once already in his short time there to be able to do with quarterbacks who come through that program.
Mitch, going to switch gears. You did a mailbag session, and wanted to get your take here on how the meshing is going, specifically with Frost and Whipple, passing game, run game, and what road bumps still exist.
I think it's the number one question going in preseason camp when they are in those days before, coming out of Big Ten Media Days and they get back to Lincoln, and it's a short time in July before camp opens, of course, because of the Week 0 game again this year. That I don't know that we're going to get an answer right then, but it'll probably be the biggest thing on my mind is where is this offense at in bringing together, marrying, as Scott Frost has described it, these two philosophies and systems. And I don't mean to say that they're divergent, that they, are all that much different from one another. But, as I detailed today in answering a mailbag question about this, Frost is the run guy. His schemes are really important and very influential to what Nebraska is going to do in running the football and being creative in running the football, not just with the running backs, but how much they incorporate the QB in the run game, how much the receivers get involved in the run game. I think it's a little bit of an opportunity for Scott Frost to have a renaissance in his designing of run plays, and because he has handed off the rest of the offense to Mark Whipple, who has his pass offense to come in. So bringing those two things together, to me, really is at the heart of what is going to make this offense successful or not successful right away in the fall. And a lot of that, of course, goes back to the offensive line. Mm-hmm. Is it an offensive line that can run block and move the line of scrimmage like they seem to improve at doing in a short period of time in the spring, but also protect the quarterback? Those are pretty significant differences in responsibility. And you can have a line that's good at doing one thing and not good at doing the other. And I think this group for Donovan Raiola, it's going to need to be able to do both of them for Nebraska to do what it wants in meshing these Frost and Whipple systems.
Do you worry about the ability to be better at pass pro? I like hearing that they want to be more aggressive and they want to run the football and be physical, because that's how you got to live life, running the football in the Big Ten. But we're not coming off great numbers. If you're a football fan, with Nebraska's protection of a quarterback, new quarterback, presumably healthy new parts on the offensive line, you need to be able to do both. But can you be serviceable at one and good at the other?
That's the hope. I don't know that this line has, I don't know that you can realistically say they're going to be dominant at both. Mm-hmm. And that's just not who they are right now in their growth in development as a group. Maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe Donovan is going to work wonders with this set of guys. But really, they're two of their most, if not their two most important linemen, haven't practiced with him yet. They've been on the field, walking around, extra coaches. But Teddy Prohaska and Turner Corcoran. And maybe it's a little bit of a blessing that those are the two who were out, because maybe they're the two that you can count on the most easily to come back in a short period of time. That's a little bit of glass half full analysis for you right there. But obviously you would have liked to have had those two guys on the field in the spring to start to get incorporated into what Raiola wants to do with this group and what Whipple and Frost want this group to be able to do to be effective at running and throwing the ball. I mean, you're not looking to move the line 5 yards upfield when the quarterback is sitting in the pocket. So they're like with any offensive line, they are distinctly different sets of skills, and linemen have to be good at both. Nebraska wasn't good at protecting the passer last year, and fortunately, Adrian Martinez did a nice job of completing passes and operating under pressure. That Casey Thompson struggled at that more so than Martinez did in his time at Texas. Now, different situation, different level of different competition. It may not be apples to apples in comparing the numbers, but I do think it's worth looking at and noting some of the struggles that Casey Thompson had last year when he was pressured at Texas, and it just makes it even more essential, I would say, for Nebraska to do a good job in pass protection. Otherwise, guys like Trey Palmer and Omar Manning and Oliver Martin, it's not going to matter if they're open downfield if the quarterback is getting pressured as often as Martinez was last year. They've got to cut down on the frequency with which defensive players are invading the Nebraska backfield.
Mitch, with about 15 seconds here, just your quick reaction. Are you surprised that Nebraska has put in so much work in the transfer portal for the D-line in the spring and no work along the offensive line?
Well, there's just not as many players out there on the offensive line. The D-line, they're also at a premium, but there have been some guys who have quickly come on the radar of Nebraska when they've come into the portal, and clearly big wins with O'Shawn Mathis and Devin Drew. Nebraska's not done trying to find players, but on both sides of the line of scrimmage, there just aren't a ton of options. The Huskers did get the 2 offensive linemen out of the portal before the spring, so that softens the blow somewhat. But I don't really see a whole lot more out there on the offensive side that they can add.
Mitch, we'll talk next week, bud. Thanks for the time today.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Take care.
Hello, listener. This is Brandon Vogel, managing editor of Hail Varsity, and I wanted to let you know about a special deal just for listeners of the Hail Varsity Radio Show podcast. We're offering $10 off the annual subscription price of $29.99. That means that you, for less than $20, get everything we produce, 10 issues of our monthly magazine, our annual football yearbook, and all of the premium content we produce at hailvarsity.com. Just go to hailvarsity.com/subscribe and enter the promo code GBR for $10 off a full year of Hail Varsity. That's hailvarsity.com/subscribe, promo code GBR.
Chime in 402-466-ESPN or email the show, Chris@hailvarsity.com.
Just try me.
Back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Good stuff from Mitch Sherman on Dylan Raiola, Nebraska's offensive marriage. Be sure to get that on the on-demand section, ESPNLincoln.com, ESPN Lincoln Twitter, as the full interview will be posted. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, Hail Varsity Radio, 6 days a week. Your chance to get caught up on your time. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. Give us a rating. Subscribe. It is free. Rick Kaczenski in 20 minutes. His take on all things pigskin. Mike St. James, Better Call Saul recap in about an hour. So, just in case you were worried he was going to go away, Tom Brady set to join Fox's NFL coverage. And we're talking 10 years, $375 million. And Tom's tweeted out, look, there's still work to do, or something along those lines. And one, do you care? Do you want to see Tom Brady as part of your Sunday afternoons in a different role? Two, is this going to be a bleep show? Or three, do you think it can be something in his own way, similar to what you have with Peyton Manning, right? Because Drew Brees jumped into the broadcast booth. Wasn't awful. Wasn't great. He was fine. He knows football. Is he going to be John Madden? Is he going to be Terry Bradshaw? Is he going to be Troy Aikman? Is he going to be Romo? I mean, Romo's kind of fun to me when he does games, just because he's calling things out and him and Nance work well. I need the games to be great first and foremost, so give me a phenomenal schedule that's on my TV and saving me bar bills, having to go to a bar to watch the game I want to see versus the game I have to see. But that's a me problem. So is Tom going to be successful at this? Man in the Arena. That's the ESPN Plus kind of docu-series with Tom Brady. He is decent to good on camera. The 30 for 30 on the Tuck Rule game with him and Woodson. That was pretty unique, where you have two guys on opposite sides of the ball linked forever as teammates from Michigan, sitting down and watching that game. Man in the Arena's pretty good. I know that's a documentary type setup. This is live action. And every time I hear a halftime interview on our Monday Night Football coverage, it used to be Jim Gray doing it. Now it's, the guy that was Rich Eisen. A little more personality with Rich, thankfully. I think it'll be all right. Is it going to be must-see TV for me? I'll check out his first ball game, but I'm ultimately watching, hopefully for a end-of-game finish or some sort of fun overtime we can whine about. He'll be fine. He has a personality to do it. The thing that I think you can bet on is Tom Brady being a guy that is going to put the same amount of work into life outside of football as he has done with football. I think that's the known quantity. So if he's hard to listen to and watch initially, he'll work his ass off to make sure he's beyond serviceable. And you kind of either got it or you don't, and you can work to get better. But Fox needed something. I mean, you lost your top crew over to ESPN Monday Night Football. NBC's set up with Tirico and Collinsworth, and some of you don't like Collinsworth. I get a kick out of him, but that goes back to me really enjoying his commentary during the 95 Orange Bowl when he was with NBC. And then you've got the Amazon set up with Michaels and Kirk Herbie. So,
and I'm the jury's still out on me for that selection. Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. Really? Like Kirk Herbstreit, he did fine, I guess, in his NFL, the Monday night games. I think he did 2 of them last year. He did fine, but
he does not strike you as an NFL guy.
No.
Right? That's your issue.
Yeah.
He knows football. He's done it for 100 years. His wheelhouse is college.
And to me, he's one of the faces of college football.
Sure, but why not get a little extra coin, I guess. I don't know. I mean, Amazon prints money, or at least they did. So why not go do this? I think it'll be all right. I'm not wowed by it. I'm not overwhelmed by it. I think it'll be okay. Well, it's just interesting, Fox not blinking. Yes, Tom, here's $375 million over 10 years.
And there's been reports out this afternoon that number might not be entirely accurate. However, we know it's in that neighborhood.
You got to throw some touchdown passes to hit his benchmarks.
We know it's going to be in that neighborhood, and my main takeaway is I'm really excited for what Fox can do with the broadcast with Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady. I like Burkhardt. I don't think he's ever been paired up with the right guy next to him. I think this is Fox saying, you know what, we like your talent, Kevin. We're going to put you with somebody a la Tony Romo. So, a similar situation where we're going to put you with somebody who is going to get the ears. Everyone's going to want to listen to Tom Brady, especially early on in his career. How is this guy going to be? And then guess what? Kevin also gets a
Fox
bit of
was smart. They team, and I think Burkhardt's good. This isn't pair Brady up with Kugler. I mean, Kugler's done some Fox TV. He's done a lot of Fox TV. He's incredible. Pair Kugler up with T. Brady.
Well, and I think
that would kill.
I think that's going to be the key, is who does Tom Brady get paired up with? It sounds like at the moment it's Burkhardt. I like Burkhardt. I think that could work, but I think Kugler could work as well. And I think that's going to be the key, is we've seen that with Tony Romo and Nance. They, as a team, are very good chemistry. They sound great in all their broadcasts. They don't really step on each other's toes. It works really well. And I guess the jury's still out for me as well on what Tom Brady's pairing is going to look like. But I'm excited for this. I think he's, of anyone currently in the NFL that I think could make a good broadcasting career, he's probably the top choice for me, just based on the work ethic he's shown through the NFL. You got to assume he's going to bring that same work ethic to broadcasting, which you need if you're going to be doing NFL games. And this should be great.
Fox doesn't mess around, man. They went and got John Madden to launch their NFL brand. They've had Greg Norman, Pete Rose, A-Rod. Gus Johnson's kind of their global voice for soccer. They need Gus doing more, not less. I mean, I think he does NFL, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. I just never get that game.
I believe they had Gus Johnson paired up with Aqib Talib this year, which was a fun pairing. But it was never on.
Pretty good.
It was never on local Nebraska TV. I had to watch on Sunday Ticket because it was always a terrible game. It was always the Lions against somebody. And I go, oh.
You're forever banished to Detroit. That's your game. What game you have? I have Detroit versus the Jets every week. Oh, man.
7 straight weeks of broadcasting Lions games.
Sweet. Germany, you're getting NFL. Yes, Great Britain, you're getting NFL. Who you sending us? How about Detroit?
Detroit, Jacksonville.
Always, all the time. They're moving over there. That's funny. We'll wind down hour one. Numbers to get in, 466-377-6800, 825-5865. Were you leading, surprised, or disappointed with the Raiola decision? Hail Varsity continues.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time this hour, it's Hail Varsity presented by the Nebraska Lottery. Got a great story to tell you about the cast of Breaking Bad. Walt and Jesse drinking tequila with the masses last weekend. Big night of playoff ball. NHL in full swing as well.
My abs got a sweep.
Yeah, get the old broom out. Somehow, some way, the Suns' Mavs are tied at 2 apiece. Heat and Sixers looks like tied apiece at 2 apiece as well. And good for Golden State if you're a Dubs fan, going 0 for 15 and then finding a way to win by 3. That was important and incredible. Justin LaPierre going to be with us tomorrow on Hail Varsity. He is the director of Day by Day. Excited to have him in studio for quite a bit of hour 2. And that's nails. The premiere for Day by Day drops on Thursday at the Rococo Theater. Screenings, of course, Friday and Saturday as well for The Rise, Part 1 of this documentary. And he'll be with us tomorrow. Ron Brown will join us on Thursday. Numbers to dial up, 466-3776-800, 825-5865. I said LaPierre, it's LaPierre. So Justin will be with us, pretty accomplished filmmaker, and he'll be with us. That'll be nice.
And if you like the live stream aspect of things, we're efforting getting a live stream of that up on ESPN Lincoln's Facebook and Twitter page, so you can watch and see Schmidt and I's beautiful faces.
Well, that's absolutely the endorsement people have been wanting to hear. It's going to drive traffic for sure. A reminder to you about buckling up. We say it every day, and we mean it all the time. When it comes to safety and doing the best for yourself when you're on the road. And that includes buckling up, hands on the wheel, eyes and mind straight ahead. The driver has one job. That's to drive. Message from the Nebraska Department of Highway Safety Office. It is that time to get you qualified for beefing up your backyard. Do you have a grill? Hopefully. Do you have a smoker? Maybe not. The Smoky Mountain Cooker Smoker is exquisite. It's at Capitol Patio and the Flame Shop. If you're in Lincoln, Capitol Patio and the Flame Shop is just there, kind of west of 56th on Old Cheney. Go in and take a gander at the smoker. You could win. Also, gift card to Russ's Market. That will purchase the meat for your said smoker. I have shifted. St. Louis-style ribs are incredible. Baby backs are fantastic. They're both good, and you'll both enjoy them on your cooker, your smoker here. But you got to win first. Be caller 9 right now to qualify. The giveaway going to be the end of May. We'll give you a chance right now to qualify this hour, next hour, before we say goodbye, another chance to qualify with Hail Varsity at ESPN Lincoln 4 times a day. Morning hookup, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and, of course, right here at Hail Varsity. Caller 9 makes it happen right now. Get qualified to beef up your backyard. 466-3776, 466-3776, 800-825-5865. Coach Kaz next. Pardon the interruption, but I'd like to save you some money. Hey, it's Chris Schmidt with Hail Varsity, and I wanted to offer listeners of this podcast $10 off the price of an annual subscription. That means that you, for less than $20, can get everything we produce. 10 issues of our monthly magazine, our annual football yearbook, and all the premium content we produce at HailVarsity.com. Just go to HailVarsity.com/subscribe and enter in the promo code GBR for $10 off a full year of Hail Varsity. That's HailVarsity.com/subscribe, promo code GBR.
Welcome to Hail Varsity Radio, the voice of Husker Nation. Insight, opinion, expertise, with the biggest and best names talking Nebraska across the state. Join the show on Twitter at Hail Varsity and at Schmidt_radio. Call in at 402-466-ESPN or 1-800-825-5865. Here's Chris Schmidt.
Back into it. It's Hour 2, Hail Varsity Radio, presented by the Nebraska Lottery. We say hi to Rick Kaczenski at Tuesday with Kaz, longtime assistant at Nebraska and Iowa. Kaz, what's shaking, man? It's finals week, and then you bridge on to summertime for a pretty important summer session, and then you blink, and before you know it, season will be here. I just booked passage for Ireland. So we are officially heading over that way. We, as in my radio partner and I.
No, that sounds great. You'll enjoy that, man. Had an opportunity to get over there ways back, but yeah, it's beautiful country. So yeah, you'll enjoy the trip. So yeah, it'll be good. But that's a must win. That's a long flight home, that's for sure. If there's ever been a must-win, that'll be it.
Don't disagree at all.
That might be a tarmac meeting. You don't win that one.
the old Lane special.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So, what'd you do in Ireland? I mean, any hot spots that you remember, or was it so long ago? Maybe.
No, I mean, did a lot of, went to, a lot of touristy things. A lot of it just really saw the countryside. It was more, we played Navy over there, and it was a cool deal, man. Different culture, different time. I'm sure it's even changed even more. Went over to Trinity College over in Dublin. The Guinness is over there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do, and went to a couple local establishments. Man, pretty neat, just in the neighborhoods, those type of things. And yeah, it was pretty neat, man. So yeah, you'll enjoy it. It's a beautiful country.
I have a layover in Amsterdam. You had any buddies that have hit Amsterdam before?
Yeah, actually, a good friend of mine. Studied abroad over there, or hung out there. I don't know how much went on, how much studying went on. But yeah, so just like everything else, there's a lot of good parts, a lot of bad parts. But been over to Germany, but I was in Hamburg, or however the hell they say it. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's clean over there, and it kind of makes you disappointed in the United States. We built all that stuff back up. It's beautiful over there. Nice and clean. Everything's clean. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's still a law. I think you have to sweep your sidewalk every day. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I swear you can look that up. So, but yeah, man, but love the States, man. Wouldn't trade it. Glad I'm from here. Glad we live here. Probably will never leave the States as long as I live, unless I'm on the run from the law. But other than that, I plan on being here.
Kaz, want to get your take, reaction with Dylan Raiola, top-ranked quarterback for 2024. Of course, the family ties with Nebraska, choosing Ohio State last night. The fan base in Nebraska, some are very realistic that long shot to get him based on what Ohio State's done, and some of the other peer schools recruiting him, USC, Georgia, Bama. Nebraska had him in Lincoln 3 times since June, but ultimately you really can't argue with what Ryan Day's done with his quarterbacks.
No, not only that, and you got a chance to compete for the playoffs and the national championship, and that's what unfortunately, with the way the bowl system has gone, that's what it's about. This isn't anything new. You look at the programs that are recruiting well, and you have you have the Clemsons, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the teams that I know Notre Dame's doing pretty well right now, but historically, since the playoff system's been in, those are the teams where kids want to go. I mean, and it's taken away from the bowl games, and unfortunately, it just seems like success of a program, is based on if you get to that playoff and if you're winning playoffs. So, I mean, it's not a surprise to me, and I think too. I mean, I understand his dad went there and his uncle's the coach, but ultimately, I mean, we're parents. I mean, you do if Notre Dame. I mean, it isn't. If my son's fortunate enough to be recruited in any sport, and Notre Dame is not doing well, I have absolutely no problem. It's not my experience. It's not the dad's experience. It's not the uncle's experience. It's the kid's experience. So you can't fault the kid. He wants to go where he's got an opportunity to be successful as an individual player, but also compete for championships, not just in the conference, but also on a national level. So, it's just it's hard to compete against that right now. When you're a top player like that, it's they're tough. They're tough to get, and unfortunately, the top players in the country right now are going to those playoff schools.
Rick Kaczenski's with us, Hail Varsity Radio. Kaz, I want to talk a little bit here about Nebraska's offense, the mesh part of Whipple, and what he wants to do as coordinator, and Frost. And you have, I'm pretty sure, a certain idea with what the run game should be by Frost, and that's going to be more physical, or it needs to be a physical run game. You know the Big Ten well, and I'm interested here how things continue to move forward so everyone's on the same page. Is it Frost is still the head coach, so it's his directive, I would say, but you brought in some new voices to theoretically hear what they have to say and what's worked. You've got not a lot of time before things really get going.
Well, I think Schmidt, when you're the boss of something, and it's hard to you set the tone for everything. Mm-hmm. It's going to be impossible for Coach Frost to just sit back. I mean, obviously you bring the experience in, which you have in a guy like Coach Whipple. Mm-hmm. You got an older guy that he's been there, done that. Everybody's got egos, but usually those older guys, they're on their swan song. They don't get quite as caught up in that stuff. So, but obviously it's still Coach Frost's offense. It's still his theory. It's still what he wants. And it's going to come down, how what Scott wants fits into what Whipple has done and what he's able to do with the players that they have. So, when you're like everything else, if you're going to go down or you're going to go up, you're going to do it. You're going to do it your way. Mm-hmm. So I just don't think it's what you're going to see a completely free reign or Coach Frost just letting the reins completely go. And he's a smart offensive coach. I mean, he's going to have input and things also. You just tweak things here and there. You don't have time to do a complete revamp. And nor do you need to. I mean, you just can't go. It's what, year 5. Mm-hmm. You can't come in the spring and say, okay, we're just we're wiping out everything that we do, and this is where we're starting. And I think what you'll see with an older coach that's been around like Coach Whipple, he comes out, see these players, watches films, and okay, this is how he thinks he can put these kids in the best position within what Coach Frost wants to do. And that's where the discussions, hey, do you have this? Hey, do you have this cover 2 beater? I like this kid. Maybe we put him in the slot. It sparks conversation, and then you mold it together. But I've never been on a staff where a head coach wasn't involved on either side of the ball. I mean, Bo was a defensive guy. He still knew what was going on the offensive side. It was just up to the offense to, hey, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. Same thing with Kirk at Iowa. I mean, he let Norm run the defense. There wasn't, hey, I want this, I want that, but we had to be able to tell them what we were doing. So nobody's completely hands off, especially when your name's on the top of it. So I think they'll both complement one another, and I can't imagine them not getting better this year. With that, and I'm sure that, there's a reason why they went after an older, mature guy. It just doesn't have anything to do with Kenny Pickett. Nebraska doesn't have a Kenny Pickett. They don't have what's that receiver's name, Addison or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't have that. So you're not that. No 2 years, no two players, no two seasons are alike. So you just can't say, okay, we're going to do that. And I think if you look at Whipple's career, everywhere that he's been, he's adapted to what the talent has been on campus, without wholesaling changing the philosophy of the offense.
Kaz, what did you guys run at Notre Dame? Was there a little option? Was it pro style? What was the I guess the bread and butter for you guys?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of when pro style became a word. Kind of like old two gap and stuff like that.
What I mean by that.
Yeah, I know. We played a tight end and a fullback. We were a lot of pro sets, I guess. Regular. I right and left. No, we were a lot 21 personnel, 22 personnel, and 12 personnel, and 11. Maybe a little personnel. We had really good tight ends, so we wanted to keep our best players on the field. Our tight ends probably for about a 2-year period there were better than our receivers. So to go 11 personnel and pull one of our tight ends off the field didn't make a whole lot of sense. But we were able to run our entire offense out of all those personnel. But yeah, we were old trap option. We were load option, but a lot of it was we were inside veer, outside veer. We did it all. And that's probably, Coach Holtz, we probably did a little bit too much. We changed a lot from week to week. The techniques didn't change, but there was times where we came in and there was a lot of changes within the offense, and that was a challenge to us, and he thought we could handle it. But sometimes when you played some teams that might have been a little bit better, then caught up to us a little bit. But we had a lot of offense. We did. There wasn't a whole lot we didn't do, quite frankly. But when it came down to when we needed a first down, we lined up and we were a power I team. We were running some kind of power, some kind of inside veer. The only thing that changed a little bit was with the quarterbacks we had. Sometimes it was automatic give. There was no read. You would run it like a read option. But in the huddle, he was telling him to give it, and we had some stud fullbacks. We had Ray Zellers, Mark Edwards, and we had dudes that played in the NFL a really, really long time that we could hand that veer off. And they had fullback bodies with tailback speed. But and a lot of our throwing game was a lot of 2-man routes with play action. Back leaking out late, checking protection, maxing it up, and taking shots. But we kind of did it all, and we had the dudes that you could do it. We had some smart dudes there. We had really smart quarterbacks, and if you played for Coach Holtz, man, you had to be a smart dude. If you didn't know it, man, he yanked you, and he pulled you. So it put a lot of pressure on guys, which I thought was good. And then there was a lot of peer pressure from guys, and guys didn't want to break the huddle when people actually huddled with guys that didn't know what the hell they were doing. So yeah, man. But but when you talk about philosophy, we were a downhill, hard nose. We were going to run the football. We didn't care what you were lined up in, and that was how Coach Holtz built his teams, around running the football.
Rick Kaczenski's with us. Couple more minutes. Hail Varsity Radio. Kaz, what did you do as a player when it came to hosting recruits? I'm sure there's a few kids you hosted, and what did you want to showcase for a kid coming to Notre Dame?
Well, the thing with hosting, as a player and a coach, I'm a firm believer. Get them around your good players, right? Get them around the guys who are playing. Get them around, and then get that guy to get them around other positive people. You can't BS these kids. There's no. It's not. You're recruiting, but the coaches are telling you everything great about the place. The academic folks are telling you everything great about the academic side of it, but in all reality, where you get the truth from is from the players. As a player, all of us, I think, at Notre Dame, when we were coached up on this, Coach Holtz made listen, this is how you get better, by getting good players. Mm-hmm. And the coaches and Coach Holtz, they talked to the players about how their visit went. You wanted to show them a good time, but you didn't want to go overboard. But a big part of it was getting them around the other dudes so they saw the camaraderie, right?
Pardon the interruption, but I'd like to save you some money. I'm Brandon Vogel, managing editor of Hail Varsity, and I wanted to offer listeners of this podcast $10 off the price of an annual subscription. That means that you, for less than $20, can get everything we produce: 10 issues of our monthly magazine, our annual football yearbook, and all of the premium content we produce at hailvarsity.com. Just go to hailvarsity.com/subscribe and enter the promo code GBR for $10 off a full year of Hail Varsity. That's hailvarsity.com/subscribe, promo code GBR.
And we're back.
Fellas, think we could listen to the radio
on Hail Varsity Radio, presented by the Nebraska Lottery.
Yes! That's awesome!
Back with you, Hail Varsity Radio. A few more minutes. Rick Kaczenski talking player visits and hosting recruits.
Hey, man, I'm a tight end that moved to offensive line, and, still hanging out with the tight ends. Hey, I'm going to take you here. I'm going to take you there. This is what it's like. My freshman year sucked. It was hard. Coach Holtz told me to leave. You just tell the kids the truth, because I think kids at that age, they can really see what's real, what's truth. Everybody's telling them. It's so hard to decipher because everybody's telling them how great their place is. Come here because it's so great. Where you get the truth from is the players. So, and each player has different truth. My truth as a freshman, you didn't want me hosting anybody my freshman year because it was tough. Yeah, they moved me from positions twice. Man, school's way harder than I anticipated, even though I came from a great high school. I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania, and this place is even worse weather-wise, So you don't want me talking to a kid from Florida, not yet. But, once I started playing and, you start talking about, hey, dealing with those trouble, man, hey, everybody goes, doesn't matter where you go, you're going to deal with that, man. Hey, man, we all came together. We're going to leave together. And, you've been on campus 2-3 years. You kind of know the ropes, you know where the girls hang out, what bars can get underage dudes in, all that stuff. So, I think that's important. Probably shouldn't have said that on air, but even though everybody does it, but, you just kind of have a maturity about it where, you have to be able to relay that confidence, that truth, and that, just that honest assessment of where you're at and, why you stayed there, why you chose it, and the things that you went through. And I think it's really important as a coach, and coaches have to be, especially assistant coaches, because assistant coaches know their players better than anybody. They know them better than the head coaches. So, I want to get kids with the same type of personality, as close to the same type of background, but also I just don't want them around that kid. I want them around all the kids, And if you got a good culture, if you got a good program, man, it's a positive. So, I've never really was at a place where you had to coach guys up on who not to take them around and what not to say and all those type of things. But to be honest with you, Schmidt, as a player and coach, I visited Notre Dame. I mean, I can go back and look at the schools that I was interested in. Mm-hmm. They were all winning football games. Yep. When I was coming out, I mean, everybody I looked at they were winning ball games, man. So ultimately, guys want to win football games. Every idiot high school kid thinks they're going to go to the NFL. So, selling that NFL stuff, all that stuff is great. But you gotta show examples, and when you go to Notre Dame and you look at that tight end room, going back to the 60s, you look at that offensive line room, going back from the Newt Rockne days. I mean, you can sell that stuff. And when you go to when I was at Iowa and selling defensive line, going back to the late 70s when Coach Fry got there, and Nebraska is selling all the things that they have, but you still got to be able to sell the present. And I was fortunate when I was at Nebraska, you could sell that present. Hey, we need help. We need a little bit of help, but we're really close, man. And this is what we've got. This is who we coach. This is going to be going in. This is who you're going to be playing next to. So I think that's a really critical element, is who these kids are going to be playing with, because at the end of the day, just like your baseball team, daddies, what do daddies do in baseball? Daddy coaches get the best players to play around their kid that might not be the best baseball player, right? Because they want to win. They want to win, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it happens everywhere. And it's no different when you get up to that level, except there's no daddies involved. Kids want to win, man. Losing sucks. Winning's pretty cool. A lot of perks come with winning, man. So I think, you can sell everything you want, but at the end of the day, guys want to win football games and compete for championships.
Rick Kaczenski's with us, Hail Varsity Radio. Kaz, last quick thought, bud, when it comes to the NCAA crackdown with NIL, the response, a little concern by boosters and collectives out there. You have the new guidelines that got put out yesterday clarifying that boosters, especially those new companies that have been created, shouldn't have any contact with prospects, either college athletes or family members or their reps. But the guidelines were crafted here. They had to do something, but I don't think there's a lot of fear in the NCAA anymore by these collectives or booster groups, because there's just been a lot of punishment that's been left undone with some pretty major things, not necessarily in football, but basketball is what I'm pointing to.
Yeah, well, I mean, when they went to the Supreme, when it was ruled on, I mean, basically, what's the NCAA going to do right now? I mean, this is a issue in antitrust. Yeah. I mean, good luck. I mean, they might be able to go after some small fish, but take on a collective with these, big attorneys, right? With these people that have attorneys on retainer. Good luck. I mean, there's a court in America that's going to take that on. I mean, plus things will be held up in courts and lawsuits, and I mean, it was a unanimous ruling. Mm-hmm. I mean, the court agreed with the athletes that the NCAA violated antitrust, and I mean, the horses left the barn. I hate to use a cliche. I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's too late to set these parameters. Mm-hmm. I mean, as we knew it, amateur sports, as we knew it, it's gone by the wayside when it comes to the money. But I mean, I don't know how when you got a unanimous ruling by the Supreme Court that in the court unanimously agreed that with the athletes against the NCAA, and that the NCAA violated antitrust, where do you go? I mean, honestly, what sanctions can you put on these collectives? Now, the only thing, I think it's how the collectives and how these groups are operating. I think that's that would be the only way. And those groups, and I'm sure those groups have thought about that. I mean, how are they operating? Are they operating as a nonprofit? Are they operating as a charity? I mean, are they operating as a business? So I think those are the things that you have to look at. But these bigger collectives, I mean, you got really, really smart people involved with this stuff, with smart attorneys. I mean, I'm sure they were anticipating. They thought about all this stuff. So I don't see anything changing. I don't know how the NCAA. I mean, you're talking about a dog biting without any teeth. I mean, they're a lame duck governing board right now, in my opinion. I just don't know how you go back. So, I mean, that's just my hot button take right there. But I don't see anything changing, man.
Rick Kaczenski with us. Kaz, good to chat with you, brother. Have a good weekend. We'll do it again soon, and thanks for a few minutes.
Of course, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Good to get caught up with Kaz. Say Tuesday with Kaz, Rick Kaczenski. So we're about 5 to 10 minutes away from Mike St. James' Better Call Saul recap. Just 2 episodes left till the finale. The big news of the day last night, Dylan Raiola saying, I'm all in for OHIO. So what's Nebraska's radar look like for 2024? And the normal Husker fan would be like, dude, let's just figure out Ireland and figure out the first 5-6 games of the year, get a little breathing room, get some positivity, get some wins, figure out 2024 on down the line. But from a quarterback standpoint, Raiola's commitment, and Mitch Sherman touched on this, a year ahead of time. That's how highly thought after he is. You have Ohio State taking a commitment now from him because of his talent level. So here's what Nebraska's got. Okay, you've got C.J. Carr, Daniel Kalen, he's the Bellevue West quarterback, Alex Irby, he's out of Harrisburg, PA, and then you have Haas Henji. Those are the quarterbacks.
One more on the name. One more on the list. This news came out this morning. It's Otis Jones.
My man Otis.
From Hurrdat County High School. He got an offer today from Nebraska. So one more name to add to that list. And
give me Otis's info. Where's he from?
He is from Hurrdat County, and it's really hard to find him on Google, I've found, because he spells Otis with 2 T's. So Google always autocorrects you. Did you mean Otis with 1 T? And he doesn't come up, so you have to specifically go search for him.
Hurrdat County.
Yes, Hurrdat County, Georgia.
Dude, good. So they're in SEC country. Here's what I know. I know that, C.J. Carr is forecasted 50, almost 60% to Michigan, right? 18 offers, 20 other schools interested. And Carr has visited Eastern Michigan. Hasn't visited Cincy yet. He's visited Michigan back in September and July of 2021. He's been to Sparty for their spring festivities on the 17th of March. He's visited Notre Dame 3 times. And he's visited Wisconsin 3 times. Does have an offer, medium interest to Nebraska. How about Kalen from Bell West? Minnesota's been in on him. Total of 11 schools interested in him, 8 offers. You have Missouri. He's visited there twice. He has also been to Mississippi. Why not go to Ole Miss? Elijah can be your tour guide at the Grove. And then Siaraka, the old / new OC for Minnesota's been in there. Let's get up the road, though. Kid's a good ball player. So, yeah, Nebraska now offering out to Otis 2 T's Jones. we'll see where it goes. But Carr sounds like to Michigan. But you got another kid in state.
Options.
Yep, options there. Mike St. James next. Like what you hear, high-quality radio and podcast, just part of what we do at Hail Varsity. Hey, it's Chris Schmidt with Hail Varsity Radio, and I wanted to offer listeners of the Hail Varsity Radio Show podcast $10 off the price of an annual subscription. That means that you, for less than $20, can get everything we produce. 10 issues of our monthly magazine, our annual football yearbook, and all the premium content we produce at HailVarsity.com. Just go to HailVarsity.com/subscribe and enter in the promo code GBR for $10 off a full year of Hail Varsity. That's HailVarsity.com/subscribe, promo code GBR.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's Hail Varsity, presented by the Nebraska Lottery. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel. Little ice cube to get you in, but let us transition to, love doing this segment, dear friend and Better Call Saul aficionado, Mike St. James with us. Got turned on to this show by our dear friend Timo. St. James, how we living?
Oh, doing great. How about you, Schmitty?
I'm ready for the weather to stay like it is. And I'm ready for that super meth lab to get complete.
It is taking a while, isn't it?
Man, Black and Blue, the title of last night's episode. And Lalo made his return. If you're not a Better Call Saul fan or you're wondering who the hell's Lalo, he's got just Freddie Mercury wants his mustache, okay? And the long and short of it is he's one of the Salamanca gang members that isn't as outwardly as crazy, okay? So
no, but there's such a sense of menace about him. Whenever he's on screen, you know somebody could drop dead soon.
Absolutely. He's a psycho terror, big time.
Yeah.
So in last night's episode, you continue to see that Kim is rattled. We're talking putting a door under the door handle to keep anyone from breaking in. Gus is still walking around with his bulletproof vest on and freaking out, having flashbacks and searching. Those two normally steady people are freaking out. And then we get a boxing match between Howard and Jimmy. What do you think of that?
Oh, God, I loved it. It was a lot like Drago and Creed, because you had Saul just sort of goofing around, and then, Drago just sort of leveled him. I was expecting Duke to yell, "Throw the damn towel!"
Yeah, screaming at him. Don't you throw the towel. No, and I was hoping Howard, I don't like Howard. I mean, I know Saul's a goon, but I was hoping Jimmy'd win. And he got his butt kicked and he even cheated, stepped on the guy's foot to try and knock him down.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out.
I like that Howard's not a pushover. He's an adversary that they got to up their game to deal with, but I think they will, because what Kim was saying to Saul afterwards, Saul was like, "Why would I do that?" And she said, "Because you know what's coming." So something is coming. Howard thinks he's on top of this. He thinks he's out in front of those two. He thinks he knows what's going on, but I think they've got something left for him that he's got no clue about.
So you're going to have Kim and Howard square off, and eventually we'll have Lalo and Gus square off, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, what's
the fact that Gus is scared and nervous and frustrated, you don't see him off his game at all, but now he is.
Ever. You never see it when he was introduced. So clearly, have they given it away that Lalo's done dealing? Like Gus has got to win that battle, but Hector wins the war type deal?
Yeah, you think that's got to happen.
Have we come to any clearer sense of what happens with Kim? Does she get disbarred by Howard? Does she lose the war and just kind of go away? Or does she win Sandpiper, and go live in the Caribbean somewhere? I mean, eventually she ditches Jimmy, we think.
the way she's going, though, it doesn't look like it's going to be a happy ending for her. Whether she lives or dies, we don't know. But she seems to she's pushing this real hard, and it looks like it's got to hit her back at some point.
Mike St. James with us, Hail Varsity Radio, recapping Better Call Saul's latest episode, Black and Blue, highlighted by the Howard Saul Goodman boxing match. What's your take on Margarita, the widow? And just to recap, Warner Ziegler was the mastermind behind Gus's super secret meth lab, and all of a sudden Lalo is able to, not by coincidence, doing his research. I think he's the one that's going to spill the guts on this lab to the rest of the cartel.
Yeah, it seems like that's in the works here. That's one of the great things about this show is you meet Warner Ziegler's widow, and you like her almost immediately, and you're scared for her life when he's walking her home and Lalo's walking her home, and she's debating whether to invite him in or not. You're saying, don't invite him in. And then later the next day when he breaks in because she didn't invite him in, and then she comes back when that little dog is barking, you're going, oh, God, no, don't let this happen. So that show, just in a few minutes, you introduce a character and you make the viewers just fear for her right away. And God, that's just one of the great things about the writing and directing, the acting, everything that goes into this show is top notch.
I was surprised he didn't whack her. He put his silencer on. He escaped. I mean, he showed a heart last night a little bit.
Yeah, and you wonder, did he like her? Did he like, I don't want to kill her, whereas before it's like he'll kill whoever it is who could inconvenience him in the least.
So is Lalo's next stop the German conglomerate corporation head that ends up offing himself in Breaking Bad?
Yeah, that could be. That'll be interesting to see how long he stays in Germany and what he gets, what he does there.
What's next? Do we see Walt and Jesse? Because there's 2 episodes left, correct?
Yeah, two until the mid-season break.
Okay, so I thought this was it. This was it. I thought we're like 2 episodes left, or we have another 6 episodes after this.
Yeah, it's just like they did with Ozark. You take a break and then you come back with a few more.
Oh, so we're okay. I thought like the series finale was done in 2.
No, you got it'll. I think it's off for like 6 weeks or so, and then early to mid-July it comes back.
Okay. Well,
so
thanks for that. There's a lot that needed to get done, my friend, between now and 2 episodes.
Yeah. It would have been great if you would have thought, in a couple of weeks, that's how it ends? What? Yeah. Are you kidding me?
We were going to have like a Game of Thrones ending where they just speed run through the last couple episodes just to get to the finish. Yeah, only 6 episodes.
I would think, though, in a couple of episodes, I hope we see Walt and Jesse just before that mid-season break. I hope that's one of the things that gets everybody crazy, and we're all fired up then to wait for 6 weeks and catch some more of the show.
Mike St. James recapping Better Call Saul, Hail Varsity Radio. About 30 seconds. Don't give it away. But what'd you think of Ozark?
Oh, I didn't. I was not happy. That's all I'll say. Yeah, without saying why, I would just say, yeah, I was not happy with it. How about you?
It seems like they're not done, but I know they're done. With the way it went down, I was expecting somebody to come out of the the bushes and save one of the world's favorite characters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping to.
But the PI getting offed, that was interesting by who pulled the trigger.
Yep, definitely.
Mike St. James. Well, Mike, we'll gear up next Tuesday for another recap, bud. Thanks for jumping in.
You bet, Schmitty. Have a great night.
All right, there he goes. Mike St. James, a.k.a. Sparty, joining us. His thoughts on Better Call Saul. We'll wind out at Tuesday next.
Like what you hear? High-quality radio and podcasts are just part of what we do at Hail Varsity. I'm Brandon Vogel, managing editor. I wanted to offer listeners of the Hail Varsity Radio Show podcast $10 off the price of an annual subscription. That means that you, For less than $20, you can get everything we do. 10 issues of our monthly magazine, our annual football yearbook, and all of the premium content we produce at HailVarsity.com. Just go to HailVarsity.com/subscribe and enter the promo code GBR for $10 off a full year of Hail Varsity. That's HailVarsity.com/subscribe, promo code GBR.
Miss us?
Come here, brother. Give me a hug. Bring it in for the real thing.
We're on call for you. Catch the podcast at HailVarsity.com, the ESPN Lincoln app, or download them on iTunes.
Saddle up, partner.
Back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Thanks for spending time. Big thank you to Mike St. James, Rick Kaczenski, Coach Kaz, and Mitch Sherman today. The podcast, subscribe, tell a friend, give us a rating, good, bad, ugly. We love to hear the feedback. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play with Hail Varsity Radio, and find us that way. Tomorrow on the show, Justin LaPera. He is the director. He put it all together, and I know you're excited about it if you're a Nebraska football fan. Day by Day, that documentary drops Thursday at the Rococo, daybydaymovie.com, where you go to get your movie tickets. And it's going to be awesome. The Rise is what it's titled, the first part of the documentary. So that will be there for you Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think there's showings for you, the Nebraska football fan. So he will be in studio with us a good portion of hour 2 tomorrow. We'll stream that on ESPN Lincoln Twitter, on Facebook Live, and we'll just get it locked in. Excited about that. Mike Babcock, Mike Schuhart tomorrow, Ron Brown Thursday, right before the documentary is released. So we'll talk with Coach there. So busy week for us. Can email the show as always, Chris@HailVarsity.com. You got your civic duty done, correct?
Yes, I got my voting done. I was, so let's take it all the way back to last night, because I got a brand new pre-workout to use, and I went to the gym yesterday, played some basketball, got in a quick workout, tried this new pre-workout.
Is that pre-workout code for shake?
No, it's
gummy.
It's
a powder stuff, right?
The powder stuff. You put it in a drink, and it makes a very caffeinated drink, creatine, a whole bunch of supplements in it. Tried a new one, recommended to me by a friend, and I didn't check the fine print till afterwards of how much caffeine was in there.
You can't pass a test, can you?
No, it was over 300 milligrams of caffeine in that. And I didn't finally have the ability to fall asleep until like 3 a.m. last night. So it totally messed up my day. Got out and voted late because I slept in late this morning because, again, I didn't get to bed didn't finally fall asleep till like 3 a.m. And it was a whole thing. Got out and voted, and now tonight I'm off to the Styx and REO Speedwagon concert. So
nice. That's right. It's done at PBA, isn't it?
Got moved from Pinewood Bowl because they were worried about the ground being a little too saturated with water. So going off to PBA right after the show ends and going down and seeing Styx and REO Speedwagon. It should be good, and then going to try to recover some sleep tomorrow.
Good work. There's the pre-workout quasi-endorsement from one Elijah Herbel.
Yeah, if you don't want to sleep for the next 12 hours, feel free.
You want it injected into your veins. Let's get you qualified one more time for a Tuesday with the Beef Up Your Backyard ESPN Lincoln. Be caller 9 right now. Caller 9. 466-3776, 466-3776, 800-825-5865. How about it? That Smoky Mountain Cooker Smoker from Capitol Patio and the Flame Shop. Also, gift card to Russ's Market. That will handle the meat you want to throw on the smoker. It's really cool. And if you're in town, if you're in Lincoln, swing on by Capitol Patio and the Flame Shop. Take a gander at it. Caller 9 now. More chances for you tomorrow with the morning hookup. And, of course, Hail Varsity. Talk to you at 4. Thanks.
A Hurrdat Media Production.